Coming up on District Wire, American University students react to Obama's victory while the president-elect is in Washington today meeting President Bush and touring the White House.
And it may be getting a little easier to pay at the pump. Prices in Virginia dropping below the $3 mark, but how long will it last? District Wire News starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Hugh Roberts.
And I'm Casey Jenkins. Barack Obama enjoyed a warm greeting from President Bush when he arrived to the White House today. Bush is not the only person in the district to welcome him with open arms, as residents in the area are still just as excited today as they were Tuesday night. Justin Fensterman has more.
Barack Obama arrived in Washington today to begin his transition into the presidency. The president and president-elect are meeting in the Oval Office to discuss the future of this country. Some of the issues they will speak about will include the financial crisis and the war in Iraq. Outside of the Oval Office, D.C. residents, days after the election, still recall the reaction of the area when the results became official.
Hundreds and hundreds of people were just celebrating. People had pots and pans they were banging drums, they were banging, oh my God, these kids brought their jazz instruments, they brought trombone, trumpet, and saxophone. They were marching down the street playing. It was wonderful.
The district is also home to American University, which, according to Princeton Review, is the most politically active campus in the nation. With the majority of the campus standing behind Obama, students reached out to lend their helping hand.
Well, I am a member of AU Democrats, and we did go to Virginia several times to volunteer for Barack Obama and Judy Fader and Mark Warner. And in addition to that, I would just make phone calls online.
This will be one of many meetings between Bush and Obama before the inauguration in January. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Justin Fensterman, District Wire News.
With a new president, the question is now one about representation in the district. Back in the summer of 2007, Mayor Adrian Fenty backed Barack Obama after a private conversation where Obama said he supported D.C. voting rights. Now that Democrats are in control of the White House and Congress, district leaders and activists say they're in the best position to secure representation and perhaps statehood. Alfred Chiplin is a D.C. voter who says that while Democrat control is a good first step, there's still much to be done in the district.
The vote in terms of elected senators and congresspersons in the district, but we don't.
Fenty declined to take a position on what direction the city should go. The main goal is to develop a plan that is likely to succeed and at least pick up a seat in the House.
Circuit City filed for bankruptcy protection today. This is happening just 1 week after announcing it would close 20% of its stores nationwide. Both moves are a part of an effort to cut costs and save cash. Circuit City hopes the bankruptcy will help keep its stores stocked with merchandise in the crucial weeks before the holidays, allowing them to assure vendors that they'll be paid.
As the price of crude oil declines, so are the prices of gas. In Roseland, Virginia, prices are under $2.50 per gallon for the first time in over a year. Dan Aspen reports.
Commuters in the Washington, D.C. area are catching a break. The average price of gas in the region has dropped 65 cents from a year ago. At this Exxon station in Roseland, Virginia, gas is going for $2.39 a gallon. At this time last year, prices here were over $3 per gallon. Short-term drops are also keeping more money in commuters' pockets. Just a week ago, the average price of gas here was 20 cents higher than it is today. AAA reports that a national average of under $2 per gallon would be possible to attain in the coming months. For Arlington resident Lawrence Bowen, the price of gas isn't a big deal. He uses public transportation to get around, but he isn't ignoring the impact that better foreign relations may have on gas prices.
With better relations with the oil-producing nations, they'll stay down. If there's volatility, they'll go back up.
In Roseland, Virginia, Dan Aspen, District Wire.
It's National Diabetes Awareness Month, and to combat a growing concern for the increase of the disease, American University is pricking fingers to help save lives. Steve Dorsey has the story.
Just a drop of blood could save you from years of medical treatment for diabetes. That's why the American University Health Center has set up outside the bookstore to offer free tests to potentially detect symptoms of this widespread disease. It's not uncommon for it to show up in college students, and catching it early can make it easier to manage before it gets any worse.
If it goes uncontrolled, it can be very serious, if not fatal, and which is why we do the screening to see if you're within the normal limits.
The test is simple. A finger of your choice is cleaned with alcohol wipes, then an enclosed spring-loaded needle pricks the tip of that finger. The drop of blood from that prick is placed onto a glucometer that reads your amount of blood sugar. The normal range is generally between 80 and 120. Symptoms can include unusual thirst and hunger and extreme fatigue.
Because I think I have 4 out of the 6 symptoms, and so it's free, so I should just take preventive measures.
Okay, why do you think taking preventative measures is so important?
Well, because if you don't take them, how are you going to know if you have it?
This is the first time the Health Center has offered these screenings. Steve Dorsey, District Wire News.
Coming up after the break, helping the homeless. American University students reach out and walk to raise money for an important cause. A full report straight ahead.
And want to go back in time? We visit an 18th century farm after the break. Unemployment is at a record high of 6%. In D.C., it's affecting the homeless problem and making it grow, but some people are working to help. Help the Homeless came to American University to raise money for Capital Interfaith Hospitality Network, or CIHN. It is an organization that provides temporary housing for those in need. It also helps them get back on their feet. At AU, the event was a mini walk. Shayna Hadley explains the significance of the walk.
The mini walks are just an opportunity for smaller organizations, mainly schools, churches, and other organizations that are involved with the support organizations to come together and provide opportunities for their organization to walk.
Also coming up is the National Walk in downtown D.C. that draws in hundreds of participants annually. On November 22nd, people will walk for nearly 12,000 homeless in the D.C. area. Casey Jenkins, District Wire News.
Ever wonder how people survived without the internet, cars, or even electricity? Heaven forbid. Well, one farm in Virginia is showing how 18th century folk survived day to day. Most people, a trip down to the local grocery store is how dinner is prepared. But for the Bradley family on Claudmore Colonial Farm, it's right in front of their home. Although they do not actually live on the farm, staff and volunteers reenact what life would be like over 2 centuries ago. Hannah Bradley, the head of the farm, explains a day in her life.
Everything is directed for the tobacco harvest, except for our just daily sustenance needs. We have a garden and we have pigs and things like that. And there's a routine to that, feeding the chickens, watching the turkeys. But most of our labor is put into our tobacco field.
Tobacco is an essential crop for the Bradley family. It functions as a barter for trading or as currency. Tobacco actually starts here in the tobacco field, where it's planted and then harvested around this time of year, and then moved into the tobacco shed, where it is dried out. If you follow me inside, you'll come see. And ends up looking something like this, where it's put into something called a hogshead, and then rolled into Alexandria and shipped out from there. Samantha Bradley, the eldest of the daughters, prepares the family dinner tonight. Slapjacks and porridge.
Got some dried peas and potatoes and a bit of pumpkin and some radishes.
The authenticity of the farm is one of the many attractions. For the younger generation, it's the hands-on experience. The farm may be from the 18th century, but has been open to the public since 1973. For more information on the Claudmore Colonial Farm, visit their website at 1771.org.
Hugh, tell me a little bit more about the farm. Are they actually sisters, or is it more a stage show?
Well, it's more of a stage show for the paying customers, but it's really cool. They all know everything of like an 18th century person, how to cook, how to farm, how to make tools. They make their own tools to farm with, and you know, it's really cool.
And how about those turkeys? Are they using them for Thanksgiving, or?
Well, actually, unfortunately, they lost one of their turkeys right before I came, so it was kind of a sad time. But they can't eat those turkeys because they're just for eating grub worms. Thanks for joining us today. That's all we had.
Casey Jenkins.
And I'm Hugh Roberts.